All right, this next video we're going to cover editing and repairs to sketches and features. Um, this doesn't always work according to plan. There have been times where I've drawn something, I've created something, and what should work as far as repair just doesn't. And I've ended up deleting like a fair number of things and then just kind of redrawing it. So in theory, this is good. And sometimes it works, but I've had other times where I can't get it to work. So we're going to look at, we're going to upload a part that is filled with problems and we're going to try to go through it, diagnosing them. We're going to repair sketch geometry problems. We're going to use the rollback bar, which is very useful. We're going to attempt to repair dangling relations and some of the problems that go with that. And then last, we're going to use the feature expert to repair some fillet options that have problems. All right, so this part that we're going to end up uploading, it's got more errors in it than probably anything that you'll experience, because a lot of times when we're creating something, we're going to experience an error. SolidWorks is going to pop up an error and we're just going to fix it right there instead of having 50 errors in a drawing. Most of the time in my career where I end up with multiple errors is like working across a broad team where maybe we've got uh, some different drafting people or different engineers all working on the same file, and we're kind of uploading things, and then maybe things, either different techniques or we're doing different things, and it just doesn't mesh, and all of a sudden now we've got errors because one person doesn't know what the other person's doing. And so some of the simple things that I've stressed all along, like making sure that the sketch is fully defined before we move on, um, can eliminate a lot of these errors in the first place. So if we do good housekeeping like that from the beginning, we can eliminate a lot of the things, or I should say, avoid a lot of the things that we're going to look at in this lesson. So some of the things that we're going to look at, we might have to add or delete relations during the sketch, when we create different lines, arcs, and circles. Sometimes relations are automatically put on and they conflict with other things that we're trying to do. There's a what's wrong feature that sometimes will pop up with errors, and it can be used to help us find out what the problem is. We're going to look at editing sketches and editing features, and we're going to look at some other stuff as well. So, as I said in the outset of this video, editing in general really covers a broad range of topics, and it could be from fixing broken sketches. We may need to reorder things in the feature tree. And it's just really kind of going in and making sure that everything is fully defined and everything seems logical. A lot of errors can come from when we maybe get a drawing or a model from someone else, and we may have to go through that feature tree and see what their design intent was and see if it matches what ours is, and if we need to change things in that regard. SolidWorks likes to call it interrogating the part, where we go in and we search for different information. We search for answers of either what's wrong or what someone else did, or maybe what we did. Maybe we're going back to something we created, a year or two ago, and we have to go in and interrogate it and figure out what we did. Do we need to change anything? What's wrong? So one area where we can get multiple errors is when we do reorder things. And because SolidWorks is based on a parametric model, and there are these things called a parent-child relationship, where one, like a sketch and a feature, and they go together. And so what happens is when we try to reorder things, we may knock things out of whack, that like there was something down on the feature tree that depended on something that was, say, 3 steps up. And now that we reorder that throws things into chaos. And so that is one of the areas that we're going to investigate. So another thing that is common is something called dangling relations, and that's something where maybe we delete a line or an arc or something that had a relation attached to it, but now we deleted it and that relation is still there, and maybe that's what tied it to the origin or something. And so that's going to give us an error because it thinks it's trying to tie something back to something else, and now that sketch entity is not there. So again, this video is just a really quick overview of what we're going to look at and kind of editing in general, and we'll pick it up with the next video.